is almost identical. And it sounds so ridiculous to be true, but then you have 10, 15 people, or probably a lot more than that, the ones that I saw, all telling almost identical stories of how the rituals were done.
Yes, and I keep going on about it, but I've been doing this a long time, and I've met so many people over the last 35, 36 years that I've been able to cross-reference so many things that on first hearing seem far out and outrageous. But I've been able to cross-reference them in different parts of the world to see that it's going on. And because it's a global cult that operates globally, it's important to hold that, not get caught in the state level alone, because it's a global operation. It's happening everywhere, all over the world, the satanic rituals and stuff.
Yeah, I know it's really weird. So when did you start tracing it back to? How far back have you been able to trace it, like the origins?
Well, you can get it comfortably back to ancient Babylon and Sumer and ancient Egypt. And you can track it through the Roman Empire and up into, thanks to the Roman Empire, and later into Northern Europe. And where the whole thing was global before, because, I mean, of course, these sacrificial rituals were going on all over the world.
The Aztecs were massive there, too. Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
But where the real concerted, controlled global agenda really kicked off was with the European countries who colonized the world, not least Britain. They said the sun never set on the British Empire, so vast was it. And Britain is such a center, a global center of this global cult. When you think the British Empire, and you see the scale of it, and then you see the size of Britain, I mean, it's ridiculous. But because the cult was centered in Britain, you had that empire coming out of there. And so what happened is all these countries, the European countries, which by then were cult controlled, they then went global. They went all over the world, took over all these countries, and put their global cult agenda in place. Now, what then happened, and this was a real sleight of hand, which is why it's so important not to think in black and white. You saw this period of decolonization when the European powers rolled back their colonies, and it seemed as if these former colonies had been given independence. But what happened is they left out in those countries these various bloodline families that operate through this cult, and the secret society network that they put in place during the colonial period. And they've gone on controlling those countries ever since, except it's a much more powerful control. Because when you are occupied by colonists, you know what the situation is. And although you may not know about the global cult, you can look and see who your controllers are in terms of like the British or the French or whatever. And eventually you can rebel against that. But when the control is hidden and you can't see it, and it's covered by something called democracy, where political parties and politicians tell you in an election campaign what you want to hear, so you vote for them, knowing that when they get in office, they're going to do what they plan to do all along, which is what Trump's doing now. Then democracy is irrelevant, because the cult is dictating events and policy, not the population with their vote. But it covers the idea, oh yeah, we've got the vote, we're free now. Well, actually you're not, because the same force is controlling everything. And this is the lesson, one of the big lessons of COVID. How do you have countries all over the world, with very, very rare exceptions, responding to COVID, a virus that didn't exist, in exactly the same way? Because it's all centrally controlled, that's the point. And if we look at Trump and Musk and people like that, purely from an American standpoint, then we're going to not see what they're really doing, because they're playing a part in a global agenda, not just one for America.
Yeah, they want the whole world, it seems. I take it the Rothschilds and Rockefellers, those are both two families that I assume were part of the cult.
Oof, big time.
Yeah, it seems like those two families did a lot of bad.
The Rothschilds are absolutely involved in the cult. I mean, that's their religion. And this is the thing. I've said this in a video this week. If you look at Israel as an example, we have a Bible, and a lot of people, Christians, won't like this, but this is my philosophy: believe what you like. It's none of my business. Just don't impose it on everyone else. Then it becomes everyone's business. You look at the Bible and you look at the Old Testament. And I saw a video this week, this is why I mentioned it, by Russell Brand, which he was saying that if you're a Christian, that he's become, then you must acknowledge that there is a big connection between Jews and the land of Israel. Well, hold on a minute. First of all, the Old Testament was written by who knows when, and who knows what circumstances. And the books of the Bible were decided what went in and what didn't. You want to read some that didn't, give you a very different view on the world, by the Roman Church, the church created by the Roman Empire. And indeed it was Constantine the Great, the Roman Emperor, in 325 AD at the Council of Nicaea in what is now Turkey, who basically decided the creed, which Christians have to believe to this day. Now, that's fine. Believe it. None of my business. The point is that the Bible the Old Testament is being quoted to justify events in 2025. What are we doing? So the Roman Empire compiled the books of the Bible, decided what went in and what didn't. And the British Empire, controlled by the Rothschilds to its DNA, used the fact of the words and claims in the Old Testament to justify, because the British were massively centrally involved in this, to justify the creation of Israel in 1948.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, because most of the people with their bloodlines aren't even from the Palestine region.
Exactly.
More European.
But again, what you've got is, okay, believe the Bible is the word of God. Therefore, it can't be wrong. So there's some great stuff in the Bible. There's some great stuff in the New Testament.